Good morning, students. Today we are going to see about 7th standard social science term 3 geography unit 1 exploring continents North America and South America. Good morning, students. Did you all enjoy your half-yearly exam holidays? Fine. How many continents are there in the world? Can any one of you name them? There are 7 continents. So, they are North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Antarctica, Australia and Africa. Last year, how many continents you have studied? We studied about 2 continents. They are Europe and Asia. Okay, this year we will be learning about North America and South America. So, first we discussed North America. North America and South America are often referred to as the New World because they are discovered in the late 15th century. In 1492, North America was discovered by Christopher Columbus while he was trying to find a new sea route to India. The landmass was named America in 1507 after the Italian explorer Amerigo Vespucci, who landed on the continent. So, in this lesson, we can learn location, boundaries, features, climate, natural vegetation, minerals and transportations. So, first we discussed location and area. The continent of North America lies between 7 degree north and 84 degree north latitude, which lie entirely in the northern hemisphere. The Tropic of Cancer passes through the Mexico and Arctic Circle, runs through northern part of Canada. Longitudinally, it extends between 53 degree west and 180 degree west and lies entirely in the western hemisphere. This continent has a great longitudinal extent which results in 7 time zones. North America covers an area and occupies 16.50% of entire land area. The next one, boundaries. North America is surrounded by the Pacific Ocean in the west, the Atlantic Ocean in the east, Arctic Ocean in the north and the South America in the south. The North America is joined with the South America by the Isthmus of Panama. Isthmus means a narrow stretch of land joining two large land masses. The Bering Strait separates North America from Asia. The next one is political division. North America is the third largest continent next to Asia and Africa. North America has 3 large countries and several smaller ones. Canada is the largest country of North America, followed by the United States of America and Mexico. The 7 small countries which lies to the south of Mexico are referred to as Central America. These include Panama, Costa Rica also. So the next one is physiography. The North America is continent of great physical diversity. Mount McKinley is about 6,194 meter above the sea level and it's the highest peak. Death Valley is about 86 meter below the sea level and is the lowest part of the continent of North America. It has some of the oldest and the youngest rocks in the world. On the basis of physiography, North America can be classified into following physical divisions. So, the first one is the Rocky Mountain, the Great Plain, the Appalachian Highlands and the Coastal Plain. So, first we discuss the Rocky Mountain. The western part of the continent is occupied the long ranges of young folded mountains interspersed with the high plateaus, narrow valleys and broad interior basins. The mountain range extends for about 4,800 km from Alaska in the north to the Panama Strait in the south. The width varies from 110 to 480 kilometers. They are parallel ranges and are known as the Rockies in the east and the Coast Range Mountain in the west. The Sierra Nevada is the mountain range in the western United States between the Central Valley of California and the Great Basins. The Mexico, they are called Sierra Madre. The Rockies and the Coast Range are together called the Western Cordilleras. There are high intermontane plateaus between the ranges. The prominent ones are the Mexican Plateau, the Colorado Plateau, and the Colombian Plateau. So the next one, the Great Plains. To the east of the Rockies and the west of the Appalachian Mountains lies the Great Plains of North America. It covers about 3/5 of the continent. This plain stretches from the Arctic Ocean in the north to the Gulf of Mexico in the south, and from the Appalachian Highlands in the east to the Rockies in the west. The western part of the plains is called the High Plains, separating roughly over the foothills of the Rockies. Most of the rivers of this region have their source in the western highlands, and the plains generally slope eastwards and southwards. They are drained by rivers like the Mississippi and Missouri. The next one is Appalachian Highlands. The Appalachian Highlands do not form a continuous chain like the Western Highlands, that is the Rockies. These highlands are low and wide. They have a very few peaks, more than 1,800 meters. They include the high plateau of Greenland, Labrador in Canada, and the Appalachian Mountain in the United States. These old fold mountains are worn down by weathering and are much lower than the western highlands. This region is rich in mineral reserves like gold, iron ore, copper, etc., which play a vital role in the North American economy. The next one is the coastal plains. The coastal plains of North America are the youngest in age. Most of the Atlantic plain has been drowned. This is low and relatively plain area with sandy soil which is infertile in nature. Here swamps and marsh are abundant and the coast is interned by river mouths and bays on which many important seaports are located. The next one is drainage. Many rivers flow across this land and some of them following the valleys are formed by the glaciers. The Mississippi and Missouri rivers are the longest river in North America and together they form the fourth longest river system in the world and stretching more than 6,114 kilometers from Montana of Gulf of Mexico. After 3,700 kilometers running, the Missouri River joined the Mississippi River. The Mackenzie River is the second longest drainage basin of the North America. It has its source from Great Slave Lake and drains into Arctic Ocean. St. Lawrence has its origin in Lake Ontario, which flows northeast and drains into the Atlantic Ocean. The plateau of the west has been cut deeply by the river Columbia and its tributary, which forms many gorge called canyons. The most famous is the Grand Canyons cut by the river Colorado, which also flows over the plateau of Columbia. These rivers form a barrier to communication, but whose water has been dammed for irrigation and power. The river Yukon, rising the northwest of the western mountain system, in frozen for 8 months in the year. The river Rio Grande flows into the Gulf of Mexico and forms the boundary between USA and Mexico. Numerous lakes are found in the glaciated part of the continent and especially in North Minnesota. These lakes are small and they are used for recreational purpose. The Great Lakes are formed across the continent from west to east. The most important chain consists of 5 lakes. The biggest is Lake Superior and it is the largest freshwater lake in the world. Lake Winnipeg, Great Bear Lake and Lake Athabasca are some of the other lakes in Canada. The next one is climate. The vast latitudinal extent from the tropics of the polar region makes the climate of North America as varied as that of Asia. Unlike the Himalayas, the Rockies run north to south, which do not form climatic barrier and do not prevent the icy winds from the Arctic region and the central plains, which therefore have a very long cold winter and very short hot summer. Precipitation occurs due to cyclonic storms. The Arctic region is cold and mostly dry and has a very short summers and a very long bitterly cold winter. As one proceeds southwards, the short summers become warm but the winters are very cold. The central plains have extreme climate from freezing conditions in winter to tropical heat in summer. The south is usually warm all the year round and the region around the mouth of the Mississippi and Missouri and the Gulf Coast have summer rain from the northeast trades which below on shore in summer. The warm, moist south waterlies not only bring rainfall to the northwest coast and also keep it warm. The warm Alaskan current keeps the northwest coast ice free. The state of California in USA has a Mediterranean climate with moist winter and dry summers. And next one is natural vegetation. The North America is endowed with the diverse and extensive forest cover. Approximately 30% of the total land area is under forest cover. Lumbering is a well developed industry, particularly in Canada. North America is a major producer of timber, plywood, wood pulp and paper. It accounts for approximately 20% of the world's production of timber. This diversity is brought about primarily because of the different latitudes and variations in altitude, soil and precipitation. And the next one is agriculture. So, the least proportion of the total workforce is engaged in agriculture. America's agriculture is most productive in the world. Extensive agriculture system is practiced in Canada and USA. Both Canada and USA are the major exporter of wheat than the other countries of the world. So, the next one, wheat. Wheat was introduced by European settles in North America. It is grown extensively in the prairies of North America. North America is the largest exporter of wheat. Maize. It is the native food crop of North America, which is the main staple food grains in Mexico. It is grown in southern prairies. North America produced more than half of the world total maize. Barley and oats, these are temperate crops which withstand cold climate and need less water. The barley is grown in the United States and produced in North Dakota and Washington. Barley and oat is used as cattle fodder. Cotton. Cotton grows well in southern and western states and it is dominated in Texas, California, Mississippi, south of the barriers and the Mexico. Warm summer with frequent rainfall and fertile soil are favorable conditions for growth of cotton. Sugarcane. Sugarcane is cultivated along the Gulf of Mexico, parts of Central America and West Indies. It is an important cash crop of West Indies. Cuba is known as the sugar bowl of the world and it is the world's largest exporter of sugar. So, the potatoes and sugar beet. Prairie region, North Dakota and Minnesota were the producer of sugar beets and potato. Sugar beet is used for making sugar. Potato and sugar beet are used to feed cattle and pigs. Fruits. Mainly citrus fruits are cultivated in Texas, California, Great Lakes region and St. Lawrence Valley. The important fruits of North America are cranberries, blueberries, Concord grapes, strawberries, gooseberries and the other fruits. The next one is cattle rearing. The cattle rearing are carried on a commercial scale in the drier parts of the barriers in the southwestern part of United States. Vast herds of cattle and sheep are kept on large ranges. Richer pastures are used for cattle and poorer sparse pastures are used for sheep. North America is the largest producer of meat and about 1/4 of the world production. And next one, dairy farming. The dairy farming refers to rearing cattle for milk. It is an important industry of USA and Canada. Dairy farming is found in the cooler and humid part of the barriers, Great Lakes areas and northeast region along the Atlantic coast. North America produced about 25% of the world total milk and dairy products. Fishes. Fishing is locally important in the seas around the continent. Great Bank is one of the world's best fishing grounds. It is located in the island of Newfoundland in Canada. Here the meeting of cold Labrador current and warm Gulf Stream current provides suitable conditions for fish to thrive. The cold Labrador current brings plenty of plankton which provides food for fish. Next one, minerals. North America has rich minerals resources. North America is the leading producer of iron ore, petroleum, natural gas, copper, silver, sulfur, zinc, bauxite and manganese. Lead and uranium are the other important minerals. North America has vast deposits of oil and natural gas. The United States, Canada and Mexico are among the world top oil producers. So dear children, next class we discuss about industries. Okay, thank you children.